Disdonn here, and well, that was an autofocus. But I'm here for another shameless plug, and by that I mean I'm going to be plugging some stuff that I like, and you may or may not have heard about yet. So today I'm going to be doing a little bit of a more broad subject today. I might go into these a little bit more in depth later for some of them, but today it is a podcast vlog, aka I am going to shamelessly plug some podcasts that I listen to. I plugged them before, but today I'm going to plug them in like some sort of a semi-organized order. First and foremost, I'm going to plug Nerdy Show, the Nerdy Show network, as it were. Nerdyshow.com right now is having a little bit of trouble because their web hoster is being a bit of a dick and forgot to re-up their SSL. So if you go to nerdyshow.com right now, you'll be getting a prompt saying, oh boy, this is like possible malicious shit. It's not. It's all on the up and up. I've been assured of this. It's just that their security SSL bullshit has not been re-upped because they cannot get a hold of their web host provider, who basically took their money and ran. So they may or may not have to redo the website completely again. They just recently migrated hosts like last October, September, October, and it was a big deal, and now they're being fucked by it. So, but Nerdy Show, I've plugged them before, and a lot of their podcasts. They've got, right now they got Friday Night Fanfiction, they got frickin' Wicked Anime, they got the Nerdy Show podcast, they got Dungeons and Doritos, Ghostbusters Resurrection. They got a lot of shit going on their plate. They've also got some audio dramas. They recently lost Liberty to being its own entity. Fool and Scholar Productions branched off. They started on the Nerdy Show network with Liberty Critical Research, and Tales from the Tower, and now they're kind of their own thing. They still have The Orphans, though. They've still got some of the other audio dramas. They've still got Cthulhu, which Season 2 is supposed to be coming out soon, I think. And they got Lightning Dogs. Friday Night Fanfiction, this is the last season that they're going to have Friday Night Fanfiction on their thing. Steve-O, the lead guy of Friday Night Fanfiction, has come to an agreement to separate from Nerdy Show and, be its own thing, mostly because of content. Most of Nerdy Show is not as explicit content related as Friday Night Fanfiction is, so it's kind of an odd man out. It's also grown exponentially to be kind of its own thing, as far as like people are like really Friday Night Fanfiction and not so much Nerdy Show, or vice versa. There's some crossover, but it's kind of become its own thing. Also, Steve-O, Trench, Tony, and David have already rebranded their Twitch streams because it's only them. It's not like it was supposed to be the Nerdy Show stream team, but it just became them. Wicked Anime never got onto it. Boar never got onto it because Boar's got his own. Cap never has time to do anything. So it's kind of like they basically rebranded as their own thing because, like, yeah, we're friends. We're the worst friends, but we're worst best friends. And, they still kind of plug Nerdy Show stuff. They still plug Friday Night Fanfiction and stuff that they're affiliated with. But, that's kind of the Nerdy Show blanket. I'm not wearing a Nerdy Show shirt right now, but you've seen me in them. I've got Pika Thor. I got, No Fangs. I got Lightning Dogs. I got the Friday Night Fanfiction shirt. I got plenty of Nerdy Show shirts. I've also got the Immortal Iron Fish. And you can pick those up at Amazon.com/Nerdy Show, I believe. Or look for Nerdy Show on Amazon and you'll find their shirts. But that's Nerdy Show. That's the Nerdy Show portion of this. I've also been listening to, not as frequently as I should. I'm sorry, guys. You're my local hometown guys. But I've been really slacking on listening to the Jedi Counsel podcast. They're a psychology slash pop culture podcast. They're part of the Geek Therapy Podcast Network, and they deal with pop culture figures and their mental illnesses, potential mental illnesses. So you got they've got a little sideshow for Rick and Morty going on. They've got some stuff on Buffy, Batman, frickin', movies that have come out. They did a big review on Split. They did a couple episodes on 13 Reasons Why. They've got a lot of, pulse on, pop culture plus mental health because they're mental health students, teachers, practitioners. and hosting this, podcast. So they've got some really good stuff. I really, 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 really recommend you guys go to it. Links will be in the description. I've also got a lovely little side podcast that's Patreon, 2 side podcasts actually that are Patreon only. One of which I'm going to start off with first is my buddies. I hope they don't mind me calling them my buddies from the Friday the 13th series. Shale, Glenn, Beefy, all the guys from frickin' Grammar Club. So you got Shale, Beefy, Glenn Case, Ty, Tanner, Alshin. I think that's everybody, right? There's 6 guys. Yeah, 6. If I missed any of you, please, I'm sorry. I love you guys. I follow their Patreon, and as a Patreon backer over a certain dollar amount, you can get access to their podcast, which is funny and great, and it's like about an hour every couple weeks. They got some pretty cool shit, so link to that in the below. Also, 1 second, be right back. So, I had a lovely little shameless plug. My first shameless plug was for this bad boy right here. Mark with a C, Obscurity. Mark with a C has his own Patreon, which also has its own podcast. The podcast that originally was part of the first one that I plugged, Nerdy Show Network, called The Real Congregation. It's where he listens to some of the records that he's got. Some of them actual records, some of them, digital if, depending on if there's actual vinyl available. And, reviewing and going over some stuff. And I purchased a second album from him, a Normal Bias, because he had a special going on. And I got an added thing, and I want to thank him on video and plug him. He gave me a second album. I still need to get a decent record player. It's hard to find some in thrift stores, and the ones in the stores are kind of shit. But he gave me a lovely little note. Here's an extra reward record to get your collection started. This one's on me. So thank you so much, man. I know I posted the photo version of that before, but my 3 records from him are all going back in their little hidey hole for right now until I can actually get around to listening to them. By the way, I have listened to all of these albums, and Obscurity, his best work yet, like ever. The last 3 tracks are still my favorite. It starts with Obscurity, and then Please Don't Let My Heart Die, and then Why. And oh my god, the last tracks, like the last 15 minutes or so of the album is just, in my opinion, it's the highlight of the album. It's just so good. Pick it up, listen to it on Spotify. I'll link to his Bandcamp and his Patreon. But he does The Real Congregation. He's also got some other stuff that he does. Normal Bias, the album that I ordered, is one that's been kind of one of my favorites for a while. I have a bias for Normal Bias, mostly because the How It's Been is a song that really touches me personally, because he talks about how he never really had a very good relationship with his father, whether it's him or like he's just speaking as knowing people who've had this thing, not a good relationship with your father, dealing with the living on the bottom end of the spectrum as far as income and struggling with life, all that sort of stuff. It's really, really touches me pretty good. Also, one of the other tracks on that album, Town in Flames, makes me think of my fucking hometown so much, because right now they're trying so hard. The city council is trying to demolish a piece of history bit by bit. That is the state mental hospital that is still standing. It's not in decrepit conditions like some of the other ones that you've heard about. It's not like Greystone, which needed so much frickin' rebuilding and shit. It is actually really good. I've been inside. The floors probably need a little bit of cleaning. Some things might need to be like minor structural stuff because of aging. How the floor will start to the slant a little. They might need to go in and redo some floors, but for the most part, it's in good condition. They already took out all the asbestos. There's maybe a little bit of mold problem in the tunnels that they can take care of pretty easily. Mostly they just need to turn the heat back on, and then it'll be fine. Exterior, there's no real holes. There's a little bit of vandalism, so they got to replace some glass. But other than that, there's not really much trouble with that building. And that Town in Flames song just makes me think of that place so much. But that's my shameless plugs for the week. So, you know, Nerdy Show, Geek Therapy, Friday Night Fan Fiction, Grammar Club, and, you know, Mark with a C. I got five good podcasts for you guys to go check out. Some of them are Patreon exclusive. And Mark with a C's, I believe you need to be a $2 monthly donator to get his real congregation, which is not a lot at all. $2 a month for a podcast. When he's basically giving you a bunch of free demo music too, also, and $5 a month for Grammar Club. So that's under $10 a month for some of them. Others, you know, free wherever you can find podcasts. Usually SoundCloud's a pretty good place. Also, Google Play Music has some. So, you know, go check them out. And this has been Disdonn giving you my shameless plugs for this week of February. So I'll be back next week, and I'll probably either go over one of them in specific, or I will have another shameless plug to do. Maybe it'll be something that's actually not needing the plug, and, you know, whatever. But thank you guys. Have a good one.